Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. The song starts quietly, the music itself expressing the aching need the words contain. Then it builds and the tune becomes both hopeful and higher until it ends in crescendic climax. I'm talking about the song You Raise Me Up, which was put out by Josh Groban, and it's hard to believe that it was released in 2003. But look at the words of the opening verse. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. When we hear the song, we know the feelings it begins with. We have been down and oh so weary. We know troubles and feel burdened. We have sat still and silent, unable to do anything, and so in need of rescue, so in need of comfort. And when that rescue and comfort comes, you come and sit with me. I sometimes think the song must be talking about Jesus, for Jesus abides with us in our days of trouble. As the psalmist says, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And then the song bridges into the chorus. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. And again, I think of Jesus and how we are lifted on eagle's wings to be more than we are. This week we are looking at miracles of Jesus you aren't likely to hear a sermon about, and that's because the stories we are looking at don't appear in our lectionary passages we use on Sunday mornings. And today we have a story of raising that is a different kind. Today I want us to consider the story known as Raising the Widow's Son at Nain, found in Luke. Here's the story. Sometime afterward, Jesus went to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a large crowd went with him. As he approached the gate of the town, a man who had died was being carried out. He was his mother's only son, and she was a widow, and with her was a large crowd from the town. When the Lord saw her, he had compassion for her, and said to her, Do not weep. Then he came forward and touched the bier, and the bearers stood still. And he said, Young man, I say to you, rise. The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized all of them, and they glorified God, saying, A great prophet has risen among us, and God has looked favorably on his people. This word about him spread throughout Judea and all the surrounding country. Now we know about Jesus raising Lazarus, but in fact this story of raising someone from the dead is almost unknown to most of us. And like we have seen with the other stories this week, while the miracle is significant, there is even more going on that we need to pay attention to. In the Bible, there are times when people are resuscitated, but only a few where they are resurrected. As I mentioned already, there was Lazarus, and there was Jairus' daughter, who were both raised by Jesus along with this young man. But the story of this young man has some profound parallels with the story of the prophet Elijah in the town of Zarephath. This story is found in the book of 1 Kings. You might remember that story, and in fact, we talked about it a few months ago. Elijah was living in an upper chamber in a widow's house, and while he was there, their meal and oil for making bread never ran out. But a little later in the story, the widow's only son dies. And to make a long story short, Elijah raised him back to life and restored him to his mother's. The parallels are so striking that you can put the stories side by side and see identical phrases repeated time and time again. What this means is that Jesus' act with this young man wasn't just a resurrection. It was intended to echo the story of Elijah as well. And that echo sounds like a thunderclap as Jesus fulfills the prophets in this way. As Jesus takes on Elijah's mantle and position and continues the work of a prophet, speaking God's word to the people. It is no less in Jesus fulfilling his role as the Messiah right there and then. And the people got it. Did you notice what they said? A great prophet has risen among us. They understood the connection there and then. Now, if that's not enough, there's another echo here as well. Jesus had compassion for her and acted on behalf of the widow. There was integrity between Jesus' words and his actions. He practiced what he preached. Maybe you will hear the echo if I put it this way. Jesus didn't pass by on the other side, but stepped in to offer compassion and help. Jesus touching the bier with the body would likely have rendered him ritually unclean. No one would have expected that a holy man like Jesus would defile himself that way. But Jesus did. Compassion was greater than ritual. Maybe Jesus will lower himself to touch our sinful lives too. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.